If you've tried building good habits over and over again, but you always end up failing, then this video is for you. At first, everything feels easy. You wake up early, start working out, study harder, or finally decide to stop wasting hours on your phone. It feels like this time is different. But somehow, that motivation never lasts. A few days later, you oversleep again. You skip your workout. You put off studying. Before you even realize it, you're right back where you started, scrolling through social media for hours, lying in bed and telling yourself, "I'll start again tomorrow." The problem is, tomorrow almost never comes. After a while, you start questioning yourself. Maybe you've even thought, maybe I'm just not the kind of person who can stay consistent. Or maybe you've looked at other people and wondered why staying disciplined seems so easy for them. But I don't think the problem is that you don't want it badly enough. And I don't think you're simply lazier than everyone else. What if the real problem is the system you've been following all along? Because if that system never changes, don't be surprised if months, or even years from now, you're still stuck in the exact same cycle. You get motivated. You quit. You start again. Then you quit again. In this video, I want to show you a completely different way of thinking about habits. A way that feels much more realistic and, honestly, makes a lot more sense than relying on motivation every single day. So, let's get started. Let me ask you something. Why do you think most people fail to stick with a new habit? Some people say it's because they lack discipline. Others believe motivation simply fades away. But after reading, researching, and learning from people who've actually changed their lives, I think there's another reason. A reason that almost nobody talks about. Most of us were taught that if we want big results, we need to take big actions. That's why whenever we decide to change our lives, we immediately set huge goals. I'm going to work out for an hour every day. I'm going to read 50 pages. I'm going to study for hours. I'm going to completely change my life starting today. And honestly, those goals sound impressive. Compared to saying, I'm just going to exercise for 5 minutes, spending an hour at the gym sounds much more serious. It makes us feel like we're finally changing our lives. But that's exactly where the trap begins. Because what pushes us to take massive action isn't habit. It's emotion. And emotion doesn't last forever. Today, you feel unstoppable. Tomorrow, you're a little tired. A few days later, you start making excuses. Before you know it, the habit disappears. Not because you failed, not because you're incapable, but because from the very beginning, you weren't building a system. You were relying on a burst of motivation that was never meant to last. Before we go any further, grab a pen and a piece of paper. Seriously, it'll only take a few seconds. Because I genuinely believe what we're about to talk about is worth writing down. Maybe a few months from now, these notes will completely change the way you think about building habits. Now let me ask you one more question. Why do we admire big actions but completely underestimate the small ones? Think about it. The person you are today wasn't created by one life-changing decision. You didn't become who you are because you worked out once. And you didn't become lazy because you skipped the gym once either. The person you are today is simply the result of thousands of small decisions, repeated over time. The way you wake up, the way you study, the way you eat, the way you spend your free time. Every small choice slowly shapes the person you become. That's why small habits are far more powerful than they seem. The problem is, you almost never notice the results right away. But after months, or even years, those tiny actions can completely change your life. When I first understood this idea, I realized something. I'd spent my whole life chasing results, when what I should have been building was a process I could repeat every single day, even when I didn't feel motivated. Think about it. If you improve by just 1% every day, it doesn't seem like much. You probably won't notice any difference tomorrow. But if those tiny improvements continue every single day for a year, the result becomes far bigger than you could ever imagine. On the other hand, if you get just 1% worse every day, you procrastinate a little more. You waste a little more time. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, one more time. None of it feels like a big deal today. But after hundreds of those small decisions, your life slowly starts moving in a direction you never wanted. That's when I realized something. Big transformations almost never begin with big actions. They begin with small decisions. Decisions that are simple enough to repeat every single day. And that's where everything starts to change. If you've ever heard of the book Atomic Habits, this is the system I've been talking about all along. It's not a system that tells you to change your life overnight. It's a system built on one simple idea. Extraordinary results come from ordinary habits, repeated consistently. For example, if your goal is to start exercising, you don't need to run 5 kilometers tomorrow morning. Your first step could be as simple as putting on your running shoes and walking for 5 minutes. Or if you want to become someone who reads more, don't start with an entire chapter. Start with just 1 page. It sounds too small to matter, but those tiny actions, repeated over and over again, are what eventually shape your identity. And that's exactly what this channel is all about. We're not just going to summarize Atomic Habits. We're going to break down every important system, explore how it actually works, and most importantly, learn how to apply it in real life. So if you're tired of repeating the same cycle, getting motivated, quitting, starting again, and quitting once more, make sure you stick around, because in the next video we'll dive into the first system, and I'll show you exactly how to build habits that actually last.